Is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. And I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you are not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying, courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined not to come in, just enjoy watching us on YouTube. Wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I'll ask our illustrious panel your questions or state your comments. By the way, you only can make these comments or ask questions during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos and flying videos and contest videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. That's a like. Subscribe, and when you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that, and select all, so that whenever myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. And share the videos, and comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining the Stunthangar's YouTube channel membership, our Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. I mean, you can spend that at Starbucks and you're not going to get what you get here. So really consider joining this. It's 17 cents a day, and it's for a good cause. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box. Looks like a big $sign. And you can make those donations there, but you only can do that during a live stream. In other words, that feature is not available during the replays. Now, your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges in the YouTube chat box. Sparky and myself can see who's a member and who's not. And you get unlimited replay of member-only videos. I'm talking about some Al Ray videos, some other videos that you probably won't, you probably won't be able to find anywhere else. And then once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel, and I'm in here just twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. I repeat that, Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there, even if they're repeated. And place a comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. And that plane flies really good. I do miss flying that plane, by the way. And if you do that, I'll be notified and I'll be able to respond to you much quicker, than if you comment for me on Sparky's channels. I'm only here twice a week. So I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. And please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post the link now at Stunthangar at the Stunthangar forum. And let me get there. And I got 3 monitors here. I got to navigate my way through that. And let me get there now. I can't do anything about that phone ringing right now. So just ignore that. Let's see here. Let me post this. Let me see here. Hang on. Come on. I'm having a hard time getting my cursor where I want to go. Here we go. Post. Okay, that's posted. And now let me go to the YouTube, what I call the control panel inside Sparky's YouTube channel. That's really called the YouTube studio, but I call it the control panel. And we're just getting the show set up, so just bear with me. And so the link is posted, so people should be able to start to come in shortly. Let me get this set up here. I see Bob Hunt is coming in shortly. Hey, Bob, I'll be right with you. I'm just getting the show set up here. Let's see here. All right, so no one's in the chat at this moment. We have 12 viewers and 5 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. That really helps the analytics of the channel, the Stunthangar channel, and appreciate that. So let me, I believe we're all set up. Fantastic. Hey, Bob, how are you doing?
Good, G. Charles. You know, both our pictures come on screen and we got 12 likes. That's pretty good, huh?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you very much. Actually, we have 13 viewers and only 6 likes. But as I'm speaking, I'm sure people are going like, I like, you know, so.
No, it promises to be an interesting show.
Yes, I'm looking forward to being interesting. I always enjoy these shows. Every show is different. And I enjoy it immensely, and so we'll see what happens.
Well, I thought you might be able to use a little moral support tonight.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I haven't been on the forum, and I heard there's a lot of activity on there, but I have not. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I figured you could use a little support.
Well, thanks for being so considerate. So, well,
it's the first time ever, so you know.
So what you been up to?
Just got myself a part-time job because now I'm no longer doing wings, you know, and I got bored about sitting around the house, so I got a little part-time job. My commute is quite long though; it's 40 seconds. It's a little car repair place down the road. They needed somebody to drive their shuttle car in the afternoon, take customers back and forth and deliver cars. So it gives me a little extra mad money, and you know, it's a real short commute, you know. So
yeah, that is so important when you get older. You know, it's like you want something you enjoy, and I don't want a long commute. You know, so yeah, that definitely be my wheelhouse.
They're very nice people, and it's very easy work. So you know,
very, very cool. Looks like someone named D.F. Hill is coming in.
D. Hill.
D. Hill. All right. I wonder if this is a D. Hill that I met at Brodax in 2016.
He's an AMA fellow.
All right. Let me see. I got to send another email. I'm actually, let me send this here. All right. Hopefully that goes out. Okay, cool. Sending.
So I hate to ask what's new with you.
Well, you know what? Actually, I went flying today, so that's what's new with me. Took my my old plane you see me fly before, the one you referred to, the lumber wagon. I took the lumber wagon out flying today. The Strega. I'm talking about the Strega.
I think the actual comment I made was, Strakers are interesting to watch fly. It's really neat to see that much balsa wood in the air at one time.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I took that out today, and that was fun. It was actually a fun day. But you know what was really great? And I don't know how you feel when you're out there flying, but I was flying with a guy named Fred Miller. You might not know who he is, but he's 90 years old.
Oh my goodness.
90 years young, I should say.
Yeah, really.
Pardon me. 90 years young.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he was actually flying better than some of us today. So that are much younger.
You ask how I feel when I fly, and I was going to say I feel young. It's interesting when you're doing something you really love doing, you instantly become 18 to 25 years old in your head.
Exactly. Yeah, so it was so neat to see Fred. I was so excited. I went up to him and almost gave him a hug, and I apologized for not respecting his distance, and I imagine his age, you got to be careful anyways. And he said, "That's okay, Charles, okay." But I was so excited to see him. And yeah, he was flying a flight streak with no wheels, and I forgot what the motor was, but he was doing good. He was doing lazy eights basically, and outside loops and inside loops. And he said at his age, his legs get tired. He doesn't get dizzy, but his legs get tired. So, but his son was out there. Now his son is I think, I don't know how old Keith is. I don't want to date him, but his son might be a little bit younger than me. So it's kind of neat to see a father and son out there out there flying. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
At that age. Oh, it's just like, I'm so envious. And then I've seen on an occasion where they have 3 generations, because Fred's grandson, Jeremy, was out there one time. So there was Jeremy, who was his grandson, and then Keith is his son, and then him, 3 generations. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes. Matter of fact, I was just going to mention, there's a gentleman here on the East Coast. He was a very noted speed flyer, he and his father, back in the late 40s, early 50s. His name is John Kukan. They were very famous on the speed circuit, and they now belong to the Washington Crossing Model Airplane Club, Radio Control Club in near Trenton, New Jersey, as we say. And he and his son and his grandson are flying control line, and they've actually put a very nice control line circle in at their field. And we're thinking about having a big contest there this year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So he's in his, I think, early 90s as well. And his son is in his probably 40s or 50s. And his grandson is probably in his teens, so.
Fantastic. Well, that's John there. I got the wrong screen up, so I apologize. I didn't recognize people coming in. I just have you as big, Bob. That's all I saw was you. But I see that I might be out of order, but I see that Howard Rush is in the house now.
Lynn's here.
And Lynn Burrell. And then I guess that's D Hill, you said, right?
Yeah, it looks like D Hill. Mm-hmm.
And then I saw a John Tate. I don't know what happened to him.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully John Tate will come back. I saw him briefly, but anyways, I'm not sure who came in first, but I'll just ask you, Howard, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Cool. You're down in the shop, it looks like.
Shop, yeah. Trying to find a place to put this phone so you can see what's going on.
Oh, cool. You have a show and tell for us this evening?
Well, if I can show you the opto isolator but I can't touch it. Okay, I'll go do that.
Let me say hi to the other guys here while you get that set up. Hey, Lynn, how you doing, Lynn? Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Good. You bet, Charles.
And I see Eddie came back. Thank you, Eddie. And Gary, I'm glad you came in. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
And D Hill, if you can turn on your your camera down in the lower left corner. You'll see the microphone, and to the next to that, to the right, is your camera. If you can enable that, that way we can see you. And so far we have 22 viewers and we have 14 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. And in the chat box, let me just catch up with that real quick. Marcel Legrand, he says, evening, Charles and Bob. Bob, okay. And then he goes on to say, hope everyone is well from us all New Zealand.
Hey.
Anyways, I'm laughing because I thought I saw good evening, Charles and Bob Hope, but there was actually a period before the hope. So that's why I said, that's why I was laughing. Hope. But it's hope. So he says that hope everyone is well from us all in New Zealand. Okay, I think I got that right. All right. And then Alex Third, who hasn't been here in a while, he says, good evening, Charles, all participants and watching, greetings from Scotland. So we have greetings from New Zealand.
Wow.
From Scotland, and we have greetings from Lynn Burrell.
Truly international.
Yes. And Paul's coming in. Paul Taylor. Hi, Paul. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate that. And,
yeah, no problem.
Hi, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hey, guys. Hi, Bob.
Awesome. So anyways, I was going to ask you next, Lynn, what you've been up to.
Well, I'm still working on my new airplane, trying to get the fuselage set up to put the pipe in.
All right.
So I've never built a piped airplane before, so it's a little different for me. I'm trying to figure out how to make the fuselage deep enough and light enough. That's my issue. I'm used to building a fairly not so thick fuselage, but this one's going to be pretty thick, so the pipe will fit in under the wing and so forth.
Right. I actually understand that. I'm building my first pipe ship too. I haven't touched it in a while, but that's what my plans are. And John Miller's in the house. Thank you, John.
Hey, John.
And Brendan is coming in. Hey, Brendan. Thanks for coming in, Brendan.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're up to 10 participants right now. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You have a looping. Does someone have a YouTube tab up or on their phone or something? Thank you, Paul. I didn't want to call you out, but thank you, Paul.
Good.
Hey, Charles.
Yes.
I broke out all the pieces in that SC5 last night. Or finished doing it last night and weighed everything. The wood by itself, landing gear and push rod is 15.1 ounces.
This is the NC5, you said?
SC5.
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's 15 ounces dry weight right now. So I'm curious just to see what the overall weight's going to be when I get through.
Yeah.
That's the SV5. It's one of Randy's earliest SVs.
He just worked his way up the alphabet, huh? I was hoping Phil gets on tonight because he said he has one. And I was curious as to find out what fuel tank he used, because the plans have the pattern to build one, but it's only like 3/4 of an inch tall and 2 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. It's like, what, 2 ounces maybe?
That's about right. I had a D7, a Sterling D7 for many years, and the tank was very small. And what I did is I put a standard stunt tank in, but I jammed in the biggest one I could, which ended up being like 2.5 ounces. But I had to cut another doubler out or something to get it in there. But boy, I'll tell you, there wasn't a lot of room.
Yeah, so I was looking at the bulkheads and all that, and I'm thinking there's not a lot of room in there for a big
Yeah,
tank.
that's what I meant. That's what I meant, bulkhead, not doubler. But I had to cut through one of the bulkheads, and I had that tank, so it was just missing touching the bell crank because it swung by.
Yeah. So this, I
Wow.
mean, it says it's from a 19 to a 35. Well, if you put a 35 in that thing with 2 ounces, you ain't
better
gonna get
make-
very long.
Well,
You
if
ain't
you're
gonna
gonna
get very
use
many.
a 35, I had a Fox 35 in mine, and it ran fairly well. It went for quite a while. But the original
Oh, really?
tank I put in was only 1 inch deep, and I couldn't even get 10 laps out of it, and it would quit.
Yeah.
So
That's
for
why
our scale event here, you had to get at least 10 laps, 10 airborne laps before you would get your scale points. So I ended up having to cut that tank out and then putting one in that was about 3/4 of an inch longer, an inch longer, and cutting stuff out. But I got it jammed in there just so that it missed the bell crank. I still
Yeah.
remember that.
it's gonna be a challenge to get any flight time out. I don't look to compete with it or nothing. I just like
I
flying.
have an SE5 hanging out in the garage that was built by one of the really good Canadian scale builders back in the day. I should bring it in and we can look it over.
All right, that'd be fine. Hey, pardon me, gentlemen. Howard raised his hand. I mean, he used the computer to do that. So what's up, Howard?
Well, yeah, I wanted to show this to folks, especially to Bob, to see what he thinks of it.
Let me make it big here.
Okay, let me. There I am big. How do
You
I?
are big, man. You
Yeah.
are a big man on
Yeah.
campus.
This is the doodad in question, and there's a 9-volt battery for size
Reference. Wow.
and one it's gone. One cable plugs into this side from the source timer, and then there are 2 connectors here to go out to 2 different ESCs. It allows one timer to drive 2 ESCs with no electrical connection between them. It's a condom between the ESCs. So,
Did you make that, Howard?
yeah.
Cool.
Have you tested it? Have you tested it yet?
No. I was going to send it to Jimmy, mainly for diagnostics, to see if it would fix his problem, whatever problem he's having.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so put that in your pipe and smoke it.
That cuts out a lot of wiring. We've been doing a lot of wiring to get a similar effect, but that would be great.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get it with wiring. I couldn't figure out how to do it.
So just to clarify my understanding, that's for doing twins, Howard?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have said that.
All right, cool.
Bob would be interested.
Yeah, I'm real interested in that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that too. I'm hoping to build a twin one day. I flew a twin once and I just loved it, but it was a IC twin combination, so it was hard to get a good engine run.
Oh, here's one right here.
Yeah, I remember seeing it when you received it at the Golden State Stunt Championships.
Yeah, I've flown that airplane.
Yeah. Famous stunt plane.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need it anymore. I'm big enough.
Gordon's building a new one. I think you know that, Bob.
What's that?
Say Gordon is building a new one. I think he talked to you about that.
Yeah, we were talking the other day when I heard Jim was over there. Jim Rhodes was convalescing over there, and I gave him a call. We chatted for a while.
Reminds me of a greeting card I saw one time. On the outside, it said, "I'd like to meet the guy who invented sex." And on the inside, it said, "To see if he's come up with anything new lately."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's so funny. That's funny. Pardon me, guys. Let me go to the chat box real quick. Alex 30 continued on to say, I am usually watching here, just been quite, I guess he meant just been quiet. Remember the time difference. Oh, that's right. And he's laughing with tears coming out of his face. So what is the time distance? What time difference. What is it there in Scotland right now? It's I have 7:12 where I'm at. I wonder what time it is there. I have no idea, but
It might be about 5 o'clock in the morning or
okay.
on thereabouts.
3 o'clock.
3
And
o'clock.
then Brent Williams says, "Howdy, guys." Hi, Brendan. Thanks, Brent, for coming in. Appreciate that. Let me quiet my phone so it doesn't make all this noise. You guys can carry on. Let me just do this real quick.
Got a new kit in the mail today or yesterday.
What kit is that?
It's a Tom Dixon S1 Ringmaster. And his S1 Ringmaster's got a foam wing and sheeted foam wing on it, but he says it's legal because it keeps the form, the shape of the airfoil accurately. Anyway, I got that because it'd be quick and fast to build and fun to fly around.
Very cool. Yeah, my friend Joe Motti flew a Ringmaster today, and he absolutely loved it. So I got a response from Alexander 30. Says it's 3:11.
311.
Wow.
But I don't know if that's AM or
That's AM.
It's AM.
Yeah.
All right. And then Marcel Legrand says, "Evening, John."
How you doing, Marcel? How's the plane coming along? We're all anxiously waiting to hear how your twin is doing.
Oh, mine?
No, the Marcel's.
Oh, okay.
You can talk about yours anytime you want to. I'd be happy to hear about it. But Marcel's building one of Gordy's down in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
And when he was locked up or locked down, I guess what we call it, he was really going fast on it. And then they came off of a lockdown. And he had a lot of work to do. So I don't know if they got locked down again or not.
So I'm getting some responses from other people. Gerald Wimmer, he says, "Hello, Charles, and all of those on Stunthangar. Nice warm afternoon here at 4:11 p.m. Thank you. Thank you for the time and the weather. Appreciate that, Gerald. And thanks for coming in, Gerald. Appreciate that. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you? I've got to
Doing
figure
well.
out how to get my speakers in my earpiece instead of in my over the computer, but I'll get it.
You'll get it. All right, cool. And D Hill, can you if you don't have a camera, that's fine, but you hopefully have audio. Can you tell us what's going on with you?
Right last week.
I haven't seen D for years.
Yeah, I haven't seen D either for years. I think I believe I met him at the at Brodax. That's 2016, D Hill.
Wouldn't be surprised. I first met him.
Stunt Champs last time I saw him.
I met him at VFC. He's into, I think, handles and propellers, I think.
Okay.
He made some very special awards for guys. He made one that he gave to Gordon. It has 2 Fox 35s mounted on the plaquette for recognition of his pioneering work and twin stunners.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then Bob picked up the gauntlet and has been running and producing. I heard you got a new design, Bob.
I do.
What you doing now?
It's kind of hard to explain. It's a complete different concept for me. It's pretty much makes everything else I've ever designed look like boxcars. So
Wow.
Wow.
This is a slick airplane. I can't show it to you right now because it's downstairs and I can't get my wife's iPad to work. So I can't show it to you, but I'm building two of them. I'm building one with a fully sheeted built-up wing, and I'm building one with a foam wing. So, and now that I'm retired, I can get up and put all my time on my own airplanes. I can get a lot done.
Oh, that's great.
But we're anxiously looking to see that, Bob.
Yeah, eventually, we'll have it on here.
Yeah.
I'll be interested also to get flight reports after you got it up and flying.
Yeah, well, we will. We're going to be using those new 23 millimeter badass motors, the 2320 820s.
Really?
They're amazing motors.
I'm not aware of them at all. I've been
Yeah,
yeah.
Diameter, but they put out with a 6S. They put up 500 and change watts each. Then he had a Meeson is flying a 50-ounce airplane on one of them with a 10-inch prop. And, you know, my twin's going to be about 57, 58 ounces. So it should fly like a bird, you know.
Oh, yeah. That weight.
Motor again?
Hmm?
What's the number of that motor again, please?
It's a 2320 820.
23.
820 kV. 2320.
820. And works with a 6S.
You can they have, well, you know, Badass has that chart. They'll tell you how many watts it puts out with any given size battery. So they have everything from a 4-cell up to a 6-cell. I'm probably going to try to end up flying it on a 5-cell if possible, but we'll see.
Sounds neat.
Hey,
The nice
Phil,
little motor.
How big a cell though? 5 cells, but how big? 2,800?
Well, whatever it takes, if the milliamp hours is essentially equivalent to tank size. So,
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to run it on a 2800 5S. Yeah.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
That means the motor's just lumbering along.
And the other thing is that Zor, my son bought a bunch of these. Zor is now making match sets of drone props, wood drone props, but they're like model airplane props. They're very, very strong, way more robust than we need, and yet they weigh nothing. They're feather light and they're very accurate in pitch. So you can get those match sets. They even come in a nice little bag and everything, a little fabric bag. It's really nice.
Who's doing this?
Go ahead.
Zor.
Mm-hmm.
Are you using one battery or 2 batteries on that?
One battery, yeah, just one battery.
When I get going on my twin, I'm going to have to call and talk to you a bit about it. I don't quite get the concept.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I say I don't quite get the concept of using one battery for a twin. I know it's done. I just haven't tried to figure it out.
Why would you want to use 2?
Well, yeah, it's exactly the way I think. I wouldn't want to use 2.
No, one works fine. All the twins that are out there flying now are flying on one battery.
That's cool.
Yeah,
just a wire harness hookup or something.
Yeah, that thing that Howard just showed us though, that's going to be interesting. I'm hoping that works out real well because that'll reduce some weight in the airplane and hopefully make it better.
Oh heck, I missed something.
I'm anxious to see that.
Yeah. Hang on, Lynn.
No worry. Take your time.
You got the
plane. Is the plane heavy? I mean, if it's heavy, I don't want to wait.
No, it's not. It's only 26 ounces. I could hold it here all night if I have to.
Okay, all right. You guys ready to see Lynn's plane?
Is it jet powered, Lynn?
No, I'm afraid not. Originally, it was Fox 35 powered. Now, this was built by one of our Canadian scale guys, Gord Gimbert. He was one of our top scale guys in the 60s and 70s. I don't know if you've ever heard that name, but
it's nice.
In the 90s and 2000s, he started getting a little shaky on his flying due to old age. And so I used to proxy fly for him. And this is one of the airplanes I actually proxy flew for him in a couple of contests. And he gave it to me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to be flying anymore. So why don't you have this airplane?" So I was very lucky to have got this airplane and very thankful for it. So I hung it up in the garage when I moved here, and it's been up there for 3 years. It's still a little dusty, but it's quite a nice airplane and it's very light. It's only, like I say, 26 ounces. I don't know if you can see inside the nose, Eddie, but the tank's in there. What he's done is made a thicker tank. You can see the thickness of the tank he's used.
Yeah.
So you can go that road, or you can
Very
make
nice
the tank
airplane.
a little. I'll see if I can take this cowl off and then we can take a look inside. So just hang on. Okay,
Thank you, Lynn.
no problem.
That's sharp, Lynn.
Yeah, Phil, what I was asking him about was the plans are showing a really small tank. And I was just trying to figure out if anybody else had built one and what size tanks they used. Because the tank it's in, the plans are showing that it's a formed, brass you build it tank.
Right.
And it's really tiny.
Well, that's the same plane that Lynn just showed, right? Right, Eddie?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, so
same
I
plane.
guess, yeah, Eddie, he had a real thick tank.
I'm sure there's going to have to be some modifications done to get a tank big enough to have a decent flight out of it.
Okay, I got it off.
All right, let
So
me
here's
make
what
you
we've
big
got.
again.
Yeah, look at that.
So he's got a tank in there that he's made thicker, if you can see
Oh,
that.
that is thick. Oh, yeah.
So he's probably
wow,
made that. It looks to be about 1.5 inches thick. Maybe
That's twice what it's 3/4 is what they're showing in the plans. So yeah.
So he's made it thicker and not too long, just back to the doubler that's in front of the spar.
Right.
Or I mean the former that's in front of the spar.
Main struts.
Not even that far back. You could make it even a little bigger still if you wanted to.
Right.
Wow,
Cool.
that's sharp.
Okay.
Okay, so that should give you some idea, and then just put a
Yeah.
long extended pipe up through the top so you can get to it when you're filling it, and then your overflow comes out the bottom.
Yeah. Cool. Appreciate it, Lynn.
Very nice,
Okay,
Lynn.
yeah, not a problem. And then he's just put a strap around the tank that mounts into the motor mounts.
Yeah.
You can see that he's got it strapped around the tank and then
Yeah.
glued into or screwed into the motor mounts. And then he's put a block of wood on top of the strap with a blind nut in it to hold the cowl on.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give me some of those vintage wheels too. It don't.
Yeah,
It won't look. It won't look good with.
Yeah, they're Williams
Yeah.
wheels if you can find them anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So how did
Oh, you're
how'd
very
that plane
welcome.
fly, Lynn? How did
Flies
it fly?
very nice. I've done loops with it. I've had it. It's flown inverted. It flies really nice actually for what it is.
For a scale, that's really impressive.
Yeah. Well, actually, I had a D7. and
Boy,
I
I
used
tell
to
you,
fly
it's-
it. I had a D7 and it used to fly inverted and do loops and eights and the whole bit. So I wasn't too afraid to try it with this once I
that would
found out how
suck
stable it
landing
was.
that one upside down though.
Oh yeah, you don't want to land it upside down. That's not a good idea.
No.
Yeah, do a few wing overs before you try a loop.
Oh
Jack
yeah, I'll probably
Snavely
do
said-
several laps before I try anything.
Yeah, yeah, it's a whole new world of flying. They don't fly like a stunt airplane at all.
And you
Alright.
said that had a Fox 35 in it.
Yeah, Fox 35. This one does too. This one runs on a Fox 35 as well.
Yeah.
The reason is it gets you a little more power than say a 19 or a 20, but it
Right.
also it's not complicated then because you don't have to try and deal with throttle and all that stuff. But the nose is so small in this that it's hard to get all that stuff in with a
Yeah.
throttle crank and everything. It's pretty tough. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's pretty hard to do it.
Can I see inside the cow?
Yep, hang on.
I like
What
the
was that
idea of
one?
the machine gun. I think that's pretty cool. I think I'll put that on my stunt ship because there's a few judges I don't agree with.
I'll send you a copy.
Only Bob. Only Bob.
What a great idea. I think we
You
should
have
all
that
have.
pointed down the wing, right? The outboard.
Bob, we have enough trouble finding judges as it is. You make it any harder, we're gonna really be in trouble.
Okay, yeah, he just cut that out. So all he did, make it fit over the tank.
Well,
Yeah.
Phil, it's not quantity, it's quality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
right. Okay.
I think I can handle that. That's gonna be
Okay.
all right. Yeah.
Well, if you need to see it again anytime, like on the Friday night, just let me know and I can hold it all up again so you can see little details.
Well, it's going to be a while before I build it. I'm just trying to get ideas and
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
stuff floating around in the head so I can forget it by the time I start building.
Well, I want to build another copy of my D7. I have another D7 kit downstairs that I managed to get a hold of at Brodax a couple of years ago, but I just haven't got around to building it. Great little airplane to fly, though. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
By the way, Lynn, Jack Snavely said cool plane. And
Okay.
hello from Kansas, windy and cold here.
Move.
Yeah, it's cold everywhere now, pretty much.
42 here.
That's not bad.
It's 23 here and snowing, so
That's a bad word. No.
yeah.
It's one of
Hey,
the
it's not,
four-letter words, you know.
my daughter called me earlier. It's snowing in Columbia, South Carolina. She said she's been there 7 years. It's the first time she's ever seen snow down there.
Wow. We still don't have any snow here. There's not a flake on the ground.
I was looking at the radar this morning and it was, they were having freezing rain in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, my airplane's over your head. Combat kitten.
Oh,
That's what I
yeah.
learned to- that's what I learned to fly on.
Yep. I got the other still in the box up there. Never built it.
I've got a kit downstairs, but the leading edge is missing. I don't know how the heck that happened, but anyway, I bought it like that. It just was missing the leading edge. I don't know, but that's a neat old kit. I love that airplane.
It was, I wasn't used to it. When I had that, when I built that, when my dad built it, I was flying the, well, I got it right here. I was flying the Swordsman.
Oh yeah.
Well,
The rest of it's around here somewhere. I got one of these.
Yeah.
A little Sterling bike.
Yeah, I had a half a ringmaster, and I don't know what happened with the Golden Bee, but it backfired and started throwing fire out the top hole, and of course it landed on the airplane, and the airplane burned up. So
Yeah, here's the rest of my.
that's the Swordsman. Yep.
Yeah, and it broke right there in the middle, and I had so much glue where you can see my braces that I put on it.
Yeah.
It's got twice as much glue on it than it started with, but I flew the fool out of this thing. I'd launch it off a piece of paneling that I'd drag out in the field beside the house, made a little stooge. I'd get out there and I fly. It's so fuel soaked. It's a wonder it even still holding together. But
Yeah.
Put some more epoxy on it. It'll fly again a few more times yet.
You want spare fuselage? I got one.
I was used to flying that, so when I got that kitten in the air, I wasn't used to the combat. And man, that thing was squirrely. Because I was what, 11, 12, maybe 10, and I wasn't used to it. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be any specific age to find out that a combat kitten or a Satan is a little bit squirrely.
Yeah.
No, those kittens, though, they're great little airplanes. I had so much fun with them. I had the two of them out of the kit. And being young and stupid, I was about 15 at the time. I thought small is good, so smaller must be better. So I cut a panel off each wing and built them out. And you know what? They flew great. I totaled one, and I still have one. I had TDs on them, on pressure on the metal tank.
Yeah.
And put little whisker skids because they usually flew them over asphalt or inside our armories. And those were fantastic planes. So Kevin King is building up one with TD and whatnot. So I figure, what the hell? When he comes out for the contest this year, I better have a couple more of them ready to go to play with them. So
did anybody ever
build
build
them out of scrap, and that leading edge you're missing? Big deal. Take a hunk, a quarter inch or 3/8,
it's no
whatever,
big
and
deal.
just
I
do
just
it.
haven't done it. Haven't done it. Have you ever built a plane called a Wowie?
No, never even heard of it.
I've seen the
Yeah,
ads for it.
there was a WOW and a WOWee.
I had a wow.
Yeah, I've got a WOW downstairs. I didn't build it. One of our late flyers around here built it. When they sold out his model collection, that was the one plane I wanted, because I remembered one when I was a kid, and it was the first 35 power plane I flew successfully. I've got to have that caveat in it, successfully. And I didn't get a chance. I never got a chance to get that one, so it belonged to somebody else. But I think he was hoping I'd tear it up, and I didn't. But anyway, I got this thing and put it downstairs. But you know, the ribs, the leading edge comes together, and the ribs just touch. 1/16 just touches, and everybody's leading edge always looked like, you know, they were never straight. So when I went to build mine, that I finally got around to building, I decided I'm not going to put carbon fiber in the leading edge. I'm going to put a piece of bamboo in it. So I sharpened a piece of bamboo and stuck on the leading edge. Everybody thought, Philip, you're crazy. Well, it's got a straight leading edge. Whatever else it's got a straight leading edge. It's sharp. It's way too sharp, but it is straight.
I had a WOW as my backup airplane at the 61 Nationals in junior combat. I flew a quicker, but my backup airplane was a WOW.
Yeah.
Bob, you've had a lot of wows.
I
Every
remember
airplane I've
too.
seen you build has been a wow.
Yeah.
Every time I fly, it's wow.
There was this guy named Goldie Goldclank. He belonged to the Parks Club over in New York, a radio control flyer, pattern flyer. And he was really funny. He told the judges once, he said, I'm going to do a figure M, I'm going to do a loop, and I'm going to do another figure N. It'll spell mom. He said, then I'll do it inverted. It'll be wow.
Hey, Bob, it's great to have you on board tonight. It's been a while. See you this year.
Thanks. I've been away for a while. I figured that tonight's going to be an interesting show, so I figured I'd lend moral support to Charles.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's always good to have you, Bob.
And Robert Whitley, thanks for coming in. And Stephen McBride, thank you for coming in. And D. Hill, I see your name there. If you can enable your microphone or your camera, that'd be wonderful. But if you can't, I understand. But hopefully you can at least say hello to us, D. Hill.
Any word from Marcel on his building efforts?
Oh, I'm so sorry, John. Thanks. He says, hi, John. Plane is coming along, but slow as you know. It looks like we might be going into lockdown again very soon. It is 4:20 p.m. here. And then Edward Carlaw, he says 20 degrees here and snowing in South Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, my brother moved up there. He taught me that.
They go out with noises and they fish with worms.
Yeah.
Points.
My brother lived up there for 3 years and he picked up a Jersey accent.
Well, we're still going through that stupid wild weather cycle here. It's been, minus 17 yesterday, and we're hitting about 2 tomorrow, and freezing rain overnight. And geez, it's just a freaking roller coaster.
How far are you from Fargo?
From Fargo, I'm probably about, 700 miles. Maybe
that weather spreads out,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the southern half of the province. They're really getting hit with it today. It's about 50 miles south of me or 80 miles south. But yeah, it's just been nuts. So, Landon, you guys are getting into some weird weather. You finally deserve it.
That hasn't been weird here at all. It's just been really steady.
Take your share of it.
Everybody around us got that big snowstorm, and we didn't get anything. We got Zippo. I got nothing. I didn't even have to brush my car off the next morning.
You guys
walked out, got the car, drove away. I didn't even have to turn on the wipers.
I was watching the poor suckers from Toronto on CBC
they got
News crying about it.
They got clobbered pretty good. But their idea of clobbered and my idea of clobbered are two different things.
Maybe they'll have to.
We got clobbered 2 weeks ago, and we only had 8 inches of snow. That locked the state of Tennessee down.
Yeah,
That's
Toronto
funny.
got
It's like
Toronto
Vancouver,
got
they
about
get
a
3
foot and a half to
snowflakes and
2
it's a
feet.
disaster.
Yeah, Toronto got about a foot and a half to 2 feet. They got it pretty good.
Oh, that much,
That's
huh?
not much.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's
You
funny.
can have that 8 inches of snow. You can even have that 2 feet of snow. I don't want it.
You should see what it's like in LA when they get a rare snowfall. They'll get,
Oh
they'll get
God,
quarter of an inch on the road and there's wrecks and pileups all over the place.
they can't drive. They can't drive when it rains. Forget
No, I
snow.
can't do that in Nashville either. I don't know what y'all talking about. Yeah,
We used to have a
8
real
inches of
chuckle
snow
when you go down.
Yeah, get down.
around here. Okay, when it snows, it may last 2 days. Okay, and when they say snow, there's not a loaf of bread, there's not a gallon of milk, and there's not a carton of eggs in the stores. I'm like, dude,
Really?
it's only
Wow.
going to be a day and a half, maybe.
That's
I mean,
the
I
way it
remember
was
back
here
in
yesterday.
back in the 70s, we lost the month of February for ice, but that's far and few between. I mean, it's been 40 years since we've had that. But
People are paranoid. They're afraid
Yeah.
of they're afraid that some big event's gonna happen always. They do it here too. They just something happens and everybody runs for the store and they buy everything.
yeah.
Oh, the toilet paper.
I don't know what that's all about. Like it's just crazy.
You know, this
I
is for
got-
Charles. We used to laugh at the guys from California when they'd wonder about why we had those cords hanging out the front of our vehicles. We tell them this back in the 80s. We tell them, well, we all drive electric cars. Aren't you guys up to that yet?
That's awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember the first time I rented a car and they told me it he said the extension cord's in the trunk. I don't know what the heck's the extension cord for. You know what it's for. It's to plug the thing in so it doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
Block heater,
So I
yeah.
thought, where am I supposed to plug this in? He said, they'll show you when you get to the hotel. So I went to the hotel and sure enough, they had a place for me to plug the car in.
I
mean,
get a chuckle out of those little tiny batteries and stuff that they'd have in the cars too when I go down and get a rental.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I'm from North Carolina. We don't have that. We don't have that kind of weather. I thought we had bad winters until I took a job as a national service tech and they sent me to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I saw 6 foot of snow and the next morning the roads are clear. I thought, what the heck? So then I went to the middle of the country and it's 23 degrees below zero. I thought, I can't live like this. Then they sent me to Alaska where you spit up and it freezes, pops, and hits the sidewalk and shatters like a piece of china. I said, North Carolina's looking better and better. It's just too cold in some of these other places.
You know, the old sourdoughs up there in Alaska used to carry a bottle of whiskey in their outside pocket on their jacket.
Yeah.
And the whole idea for that was they'd be out, working their trap line or whatever. And every once in a while they stopped, pulled out and look at that, and it was starting to ice up. They knew it was time to get inside.
Yeah, that's exactly what they told me.
70.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Canadian
talking
term
about
or not, but in full-size aviation, the old compass on the dash, we always called it the whiskey compass. I don't know if the Americans do or not.
Yeah.
The reason it's called a whiskey compass is because the old bush pilots, when the damn thing had leaked down, which of course when it gets real cold or dry, the gasket would leak. So they always had a bottle of whiskey. So and whiskey takes a lot to freeze it. So you'd fill the compass up with whiskey so it'll work again. So that's why we always called them whiskey compasses.
Yeah, if it got to
Okay,
where
we
that
was
thing was frozen,
talking
you
about all
was in
this
trouble.
cold weather. What's the coldest temperature that a IC engine will run, airplane engine?
Well,
I
I've
don't
flown
know.
at
Did anybody's run?
I've flown at 40 below. It isn't fun,
Oh,
but
shit.
I've flown at that. But you got to block off just about the entire air inlets on the engine for the cooling.
You are officially crazy.
I agree. He's way
The
crazier
coldest-
than me.
My general cutoff for teaching is if but I won't authorize the solo if it gets colder than about 25 below, just because of engine management. To dual, I'll teach to, depending on the type of airplane and how damn cold it gets in the cockpit, I'll teach to about 30, 35 below.
Wow.
Which
Well,
is just
I'm talking about
You were
I'm
one.
talking about control line.
I once flew at 40 below 80.
Do what?
I once flew 40 below 80.
Yeah,
40.
so plus 40.
40 below. Well, no, I'm talking about for control line. I mean, I know there's a certain point to where they just won't run, but I mean, for the nitro engines, I
Well,
mean,
I don't know.
I hear people talking about that, you know, they're putting skis on them and flying them in the snow and everything.
yeah,
I've
but
done that.
I was just curious as to how cold is too cold for the nitro engines to run.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you this way: if you're stupid enough to do it with a 049, when
Well,
it gets so
that's-
cold that thing kicks you and you're ready to give up and go back in the house because your finger just won't quit hurting. That's too cold.
I never
never-
ever tried flying an 049 in the winter. I've flown 35s because all I used to
Yeah.
fly was just 049s or 35s.
I
You know,
never
like
could
the
make the
old
049
35s.
start.
They'd fire up. I'd run them on, you know, like 10 or 15% nitro because you
Mhm.
need some kick on them just to get it firing. And you generally give up after about 10 minutes if they wouldn't run because we didn't have
Mhm.
electric starts in those days.
You take a little Bernzomatic out there and flick the
That's
Bernzomatic.
right.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah, Bob. But
that runs an all
around
lighter.
about, I'm thinking Fahrenheit, maybe about 10 degrees is about the coldest I ever endured for it because your body only can take so much anyway.
I'm thinking maybe 70.
Yeah, Fahrenheit.
I've flown them at 20 below.
I agree with you. That sounds like a good temperature.
I like
Guys, let me
65.
interrupt for a second, you guys, because I have a comment and he's been waiting a while. Minnesota Mike says, hope this is the last weather report. He says, freezing here, foggy, closing down the town to COVID-19. He says, Minnesota Mike, Clovis, California. And Minnesota Mike, thanks for coming in. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Appreciate that you're back and we can continue on.
Good to hear from you, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eddie, I've flown them at 20 below near Green Bay, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And you got to go out there, take a little Bernzomatic with you, take some Roncinol lighter fluid and all of that. And if you can get it warm enough, and get enough nitro in your fuel, you can run them. They'll run. I know they'll run at 20 below, and you can fly them just like. But boy, when they shut down, they cool down real fast. So if you want a second flight, you better get on it.
As I recall, back when I was doing it, I was using those 2-volt plugs you could get then in the wintertime.
Okay. On the other note, how does the cold affect the electric? Does it drain the batteries faster?
Yeah, battery. You have to keep the batteries warm, and if you get them running and they're warm, they'll maintain their warmth. But if they get cold, it's hard to get them up to temperature.
Yeah.
Of course, rubber bands don't work.
The electrons freeze in it.
Rubber bands don't work good at 20 below either.
Well, I can tell
The
you
way I
this.
look at it is the weather we're talking about is what we call around here building weather.
Yeah, I agree.
Build-
That's right.
Yeah.
Some guys don't get it though.
Yeah.
They miss that message.
what I used to find one of the biggest hassles the odd time I'd fly in the winter was after you're all done, you've had the fun of flying, then you got to wind up the lines.
Good luck with it. Yeah, that's always
All
fun.
your crap away.
Or
That's
try to
always
get-
fun. You ever try to wind up lines in mitts? It doesn't work too well.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all.
Well, try to get the castor oil off your wing.
You get your hands warm any way
That's
you can
fun.
and then go out and do them quick and be done with it.
Yeah.
Castor oil off the wing, who cares about it? It's freezing up on there. You just take it home and do it in the workshop.
No,
6 months.
I saw Peter Naval just for a second.
Oh, good.
Hi, Pete.
Hey, Peter, good to hear you're still around. Come on in and talk to us.
And there's another person, Ken and Kim. I'm looking forward to them either talking or enabling their camera. And then D Hill, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate your being here. So right now we have 15 people. So be patient. You want to say something? Be patient. Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. Let me make you big for a second so we can take a look at you.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter. How are you?
Good to see you.
What's that? Thank you very much.
So you're back in the hospital, or did you never leave?
I haven't been released. I'm still here.
Okay. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're still amongst the living.
Me too.
I'm all
You're all plugged in.
Yeah.
Wow, Peter, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it.
We were worried about you, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this past Saturday, my heart stopped. I was on CPR for 20 minutes.
Oh Lordy.
Oh,
This is for the second time, right, Peter?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
But everything's kosher at the moment. I look like hell because I haven't had the chance to do anything.
Sure, we understand that.
Excuse the expression here.
Hey, but I'm glad to see you, though. I mean, that's the important thing. So that's awesome.
Hey, Pete, just look at it this way. It's good to be seen and not viewed.
That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
You take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll sit back.
I'm going to reduce your screen. I'm going to
really
reduce your screen.
We're really glad to see you, Peter. We really are.
Thank you.
Hang in, buddy.
Same here.
And by the way, hi, Carl. Thanks for coming in, Carl. Appreciate that. We had fun today flying. We had a good day, no crashes, and beautiful weather.
You turkey.
Yeah. And Stephen, what you been up to, Stephen?
I haven't been up too much. Wasn't feeling well last week. Other than that, this week, busy with work. Well, I haven't done much of anything else.
Hey, Steve, nice. I saw you. I got the thing to check out the Control Line Club site there. Today went over and figured out how to get in there. It was a pretty nice little thing you put together.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, my dad works a lot on that. It gives him something to do, and he likes messing around with that and putting that all together, and he keeps changing it around.
Well, it's pretty much a history of the Control Line Club in Las Vegas and of the contest you had there. I thought it was quite interesting.
Sure. Well, it starts with the history on how we started the club out here, even, and just he actually introduced it and made Control Line more well populated or known out here.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody really here that did fly it.
Well, what do you got? About 50 members now?
About before that all happened, we had just a handful of guys that just flew in a baseball park at one time and just had a little bit of fun for maybe an hour or two, but nobody recognized it.
Well, I enjoyed the picture you had of the scooter patrol.
Oh, he don't talk to me anymore.
I bet he doesn't.
He doesn't talk to me at all. I met with him a couple times already at the field, and he notices my presence, but doesn't say a word to me. He just goes the other way.
By the way, say hi to your dad for me, would you?
Will do. Well, my dad and I both wanted to say to Gary also, we just got our calendars. We want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
They were very nice.
What? What do you want?
Big John, you're being eclipsed by a cat.
I know, she's talking to me right now. She's trying to tell me something, and
yeah,
she just I think she's from France. I can't understand it.
I know what she's saying. Where's the treats?
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Yeah, where's the treats?
Or why aren't you petting
Where's
me?
the Red Baron pizza?
I'm up to heaven for it right now.
Hey, did
You're
you
just
ever?
getting illiterate in your old age, John.
Yeah.
How you coming on that new Pathfinder? Cha-ching.
I talked to Gordon about it yesterday. I've got to get some stuff scanned in full size. And the scanner on my printer isn't big enough to scan it in full size. I just found, I normally have to drive 150 miles up to Salt Lake and to get it scanned. And when I was up there last Thursday, I had a doctor's appointment at the VA, but I didn't get done with them. They had to go for tests and stuff. I didn't get done in time before the place that I go to closes. So I had to come back home. But I just got my local newspaper, and one of the things they claim they've got printing service, and they say scanning, and I'm going to go over there. It's only like 2 or 3 blocks away. I'm going to go over there and see if they can scan full size large objects or not. And I'll see if I can work with them, because it sure saves a lot of gas and time.
Yeah, I'm hoping if you can get that done, I'd like to find out how that thing's gonna look, because I really want to try.
Yeah, well, I do too. I really like the look of the new rudder he's got on it. I've got the cells are pretty much the same, but we liked Marcel's have a 3/4 inch wide fuselage so much. It'll probably have that, and the cells will still be profiled, but they'll be they won't be 3/8, they'll be 1/2 inch. So
well, as long as it's no more than 3/4 at the trailing edge of the wing, it's still a profile, legal profile.
yeah, right, exactly. And if you've seen pictures posted on here, Marcel's twin, it really looked good. That extra,
it looked great. I've got
extra
the
roundness in the fuselage and all, it looked good.
What I've been thinking about is, why couldn't you build a built-up fuselage in the front and encase the battery, ESC? Well, you wouldn't have the ESC, but the battery and the timer, and then have it profile from the trailing edge back.
Well, I've thought of that.
And then in the cells, it would make it a lot neater to have just built up the cells and have them, what sticks back down the trailing edge, have that just 1/2 inch. But I've thought about that, but somebody's going to say that's not a profile, and you're going to get a big argument going or something. I don't know. If they look in the book, according to the book, as long as it's 3/4 inch or less from the trailing edge of the wing back, it is a profile.
Well,
I lost that argument. I couldn't fly my wasp for a couple of years because the guys kept saying it's not a profile because the motor is inverted and it had a round. Well, I can bring it up and show it to you. It's down in the basement. But anyway, the front end's built up. It's rounded and it cuts in at the high point of the wing. Everything necks down. Well, it wouldn't let me fly it in profile because it wasn't a true profile. Well, now with the advent of electric motors, which way does the motor go? I don't know. Put it in any way you want to go. There's no up and down.
Well,
so go ahead.
Bob could probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Ted Fancher's imitation, he got a lot of pushback on that because apparently the engine is supposed to be open to the motor mounts. And well, anyway, he got a lot of pushback, and I don't know what it was all about, but I don't think they allow his imitation to fly as a profile. Is that true, Bob?
I don't know.
They do here.
I didn't know there were official. Where are the official rules for profile, or is it a regional rule thing?
I think it's a regional rule thing. I've never seen any official rules.
I've heard the same argument against El Raby's Mustang 1 also, because the engine isn't fully exposed because you got the plastic cover and it's upright or inverted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of them to, finish up someday, but I don't really care about profile rules because we don't really fuss about it too much because we might get 4 entries period. So nobody makes a big deal about it. If it's got a slab or a fuselage, it's profile.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
The invitation
We got-
they stated was a full legal profile.
Was it?
Yeah.
What one was it that, am I wrong? What one was it that he had a pushback on?
Those the other
I
one that
don't know.
was built up, and but it wasn't the invitation because the invitation came off on the side.
Because from what I understand about it, profile for the engine, they say that the engine has to be fully exposed from the motor lugs up.
Well, that one is, imitation is.
The
So-
imitation.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it comes off the side. It's got a key cal on the inboard side, but other than that, it's fully exposed.
Which is the
Yeah,
one?
fully.
Which is the one he had that has the RC mount in the front and the engine is?
That's the imitation.
That's the imitation. Actually, I got the plans right here. If we want to look it up, I can grab them in about 2
Yeah, I've
minutes.
got them downstairs.
Let me see here.
Well, there was also, I got a little pushback with Mathis's Excalibur because it has the third, what do you call it, doubler on the outside. And so I actually carved around and got it so you can see the mounts.
Yeah.
Open from the mounts out.
Well, there's always going to be somebody want to complain. I mean, I went years ago. I flew radio control semi-scale, and Dan Sanich was still alive. Dan Sanich helped me build a set of landing gear. I love a F8F Bearcat, and Dan knew it. Dan helped me build a landing gear. A Bearcat the gear doesn't come up like a Mustang. You know, it's not all one piece. It's double knuckle. You know, it's like your elbow goes out and your hand comes in. Well, we built a set like that. Went to a scale contest, and we're out there flying, and a guy comes up and he protests me. $25 protest fee, and he protested me. I said, "Why are you protesting my landing gear?" He says, "I can't buy one of those. The plans were published. You're supposed to be a modeler. Build it." That's what I did. But I mean, you know, some people are going to fuss about anything. Where'd Bob go?
Are you still here?
Okay.
Yeah, he's still here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. He just.
Let me interrupt for a second. I want to say hi to Robert Gore. Thanks for coming in, Bob.
Hey, hi guys.
And
Hi.
Hey, Robert,
Mike
Bob.
Honky, thanks for coming in, Mike.
Yeah.
And I have nothing else in the chat, so that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, we're up to 21 concurrent viewers now, but we've been as high as 32 viewers on the internet. So very good. We're up to 23 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. We don't have any new members, so consider joining our Sparky's YouTube channel. It's just $4.99 a month, and it helps offset some of the expenses. And also, if you don't want to do that, donate through the super chat, which is another way. You just go to the chat box and there's a big $sign. Click on that and show us some love, and we would really appreciate that. That's it.
Hey, Charles, can you make this big? I've got the plans for the.
Sure. Hang on one
Yeah,
second.
that's the one.
That's it.
Yeah, if you look
Hang on
at
one
this,
second.
this is the small version. I got full-size plans laid out too. If you look at it, he's got a Super Tiger
Bear with me
46
one
on an
second.
RC radial mount inverted, but it's fully exposed. And he's got the tank buried partway through the fuselage.
I'm having a hard time getting my cursor over here. Just a second. Come on. I have 3 monitors. I have to move the cursor from. Why can't I get over there? Here we go. All right, now I can make it big.
Okay, that's big there.
Now you're big.
Now you're big.
Okay, so if you look, there's no reason whatsoever that should ever be disqualified under whatever rules have been put for profile.
Well, I agree with you.
That they mounted it in front. That's just a block in the front.
Yeah,
then
you know, and
out-
cheek cowls and stuff, all that's fine. And, you know, he's running a Super Tiger 46, which vibrate a bit. I'm amazed he got away with the radial mount on it, mounted like that. But, you know, why do they make a big deal about crap like that? It's got a slab fuselage. Now, there are some guys that go overboard and they put internal controls in, and basically they put more work into putting a profile together than a regular built-up fuselage. But, those
Guilty.
guys, they're obsessed with some kind of cheating, winning or something. I don't know. But,
No, just
big deal. You're only how many entries are there in profile in any local contest? And as far as I know, they don't fly it at the Nats anyway.
The thing with, I think with Ted Fancher was, in his day, Ted Fancher was a heck of a competitor. And he was almost like Paul Walker in a way, when he showed up, you probably weren't going to beat him. And so they try, I think, to beat him on the rules. So, and that's common. But, on the other side of the coin, usually the judges and the CD get it right. And the meet goes on and everybody has a good time. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, like we were kind of talking about the other night on Builder of the Model Rule and stuff, guys like me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I like building anyway, but until you get into the top level, between the final few competitors, which generally eat, live, and breathe flying and do nothing but for decades, you're not going to beat them anyway over a couple of points. So why don't we make a big deal out of a couple of little minor regulations on profiles or something like that?
Yeah. Well,
all it is one of those standard mounts hooked up onto a firewall.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a craft haze or whatever mount. Yeah.
Mount that's just mounted onto a firewall with an inverted, hooked up so the engine's inverted, but the whole thing's exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's no different than this right here.
I mean, I'm looking at the one that's the one Ted Fancher had that's finished, which was a white, red and
That's
yellow
profile with a front mount on it, so it's just a bigger version of that.
Yeah, exactly.
front mount. Yeah,
all it is.
Yep.
Yeah, or a Mustang one. I could pull the plans out for that too. And really, there isn't a whole lot of difference. It's got a plywood, horizontal mount with an either upright is how he designed it, or optional inverted for a Fox 35. And he had a little plastic fairing that going over that, and the fuel tank, which barely covered the engine. I mean, it just covered the fuel tank. And reading through some of the old Pampa stuff and whatnot, and Stuka stunt stuff, I mean, people were dead set against it because it's not a profile. And he was doing similar with a Bearcat and just gave up on it because of basically the BS of some people about trying to enforce a non-existent rule.
Yeah.
He flew the Bearcat profile with the upright engine. He flew that until the last time that I talked to him about flying. He'd been out flying that airplane. So, but he did love to fly that critical mass in his big Mustang. Now
that's
wow.
awesome.
Hey, Phil, I have a question for you, Phil, from Minnesota Mike.
Okay.
He says, Phil, did you ever get the 46 to run? And then he asked how many head gaskets were in it.
Lord, I forgot how many head gaskets were in it, but it's got 2 in it now. And it's on my super duper zilch, and it's flying very well. It's I don't know. I can't remember how many was in it. Honestly, we pulled it apart. It seems like there were 2 or 3, but it's got 2. I can't remember, but it's got 2 in it now. I bought an FP25 offline and opened that thing up. I don't know how they ever got it to run. It had 6 head gaskets in it.
Good Lord.
So for crying out loud. So anyway, I think that one had 2 or 3 in it. I know it's got 2 in it now. And I have reshaped the combustion chamber a little bit to make it a little bit more hemispherical. And it's a little softer. That thing had some pop to it. That's a good motor. But I've got I got a Brian Gardner sleeve and piston now. I'm putting in a new 46, all new stuff from Japan Parts Japan, OS Parts Japan. And I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see soon. It won't take me too long to have that one running. Well, it might take a while. This weather, 21 degrees, I ain't going out in this to go flying.
Nope.
One of the guys called me a while ago and said, instead of going flying in the morning, we're going to meet for lunch. I said, yeah, I don't believe I want to pull the hill going into Hobby Park.
Uh-huh.
Going into it don't scare me. Coming out of it scares me. Hobby Park's got a hill going into it. It's about 45 degrees, just darn near straight up. And it don't scare me going up it. It scares me coming back down it. You hit that ice. Because across the street from it is a big ditch and a bunch of trees, and that's it. So, but anyway, maybe next week.
Got me a new toy.
What you got?
Oh, K&B Greenhead. Nice.
45? Is that a 45?
45.
Nice.
That's a nice motor. You will like that. You just bought
That
that
looks
off
like
eBay.
it's
didn't
brand
you?
new.
Yeah, I got it
Yeah.
off eBay. Thing's got
What's
some.
That is sexy.
Pretty motor.
What'd you have to give for it, Eddie? What did it finally go for?
Shipping and tax was 80.
Well, you got a deal.
Yeah, every one of them I've seen on so far.
45.
The ones I've seen before has gone over 200.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even try to bid on that one. I just said they just go too high for me.
Well, that's why I didn't think I would get it. But I think it was $60-something is what it. I want to say 65.
Yeah.
And then plus shipping and tax and everything, it was like 80 bucks, something like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I've been trying to get one. I've been trying to get one for forever because I love the 35s.
Yeah, I wanted to get one, but I looked at it and I said, I keep saying I'm going electric. Why am I keep buying these darn motors? So I'm going electric. Although I'll still buy a Air Tiger 36 if I get my hands on one. I'm gonna try to buy another Air Tiger 36, but other than that, I may be done with buying the fuel motors right now.
Nitro will always be in your blood, Phil.
Well, I'll always be running it. I mean, like I say, my old times, I own seven Fox 59s, and 5 of them are on airplanes, and 2 of them are on planes. There's a Stunt Wagon 60 and a Gambler downstairs in the process of being built. So there's the other 2.
They're all
If I go electric, I'm gonna have to have a gallon of fuel out there just to sniff it when I get through.
Well, see, I can't smell, so it doesn't make a difference to me.
I love the smell of nitro in the morning.
I like these the guys in the pits that I'll put my plane in front of their electric ones when I'll fire it up and run it in the pits.
That's not nice at all. That's just being rude.
That's not
nice.
You might run into somebody like me that has a diesel.
Oh, God.
What are yours?
Oh, God.
No, I never actually do it, but
Don't make him mad. You talk about getting slimed. That diesel will slime you.
So does diesel have more power?
Yes.
Or what's the advantage of a diesel?
Oh.
Or is there?
Think of any.
They'll turn a bigger prop.
More torque?
Say what?
More torque?
Yeah. They're not as restrictive on their exhaust. I had a 28 K&B Sportster that I had Davis Diesel built me a head. We put a new rod in it because the rod that comes with it.
Yeah, you better.
But it ran very well. I ran it on a twister, a Fancherized twister, fluid stun. It would do the entire pattern and flew quite well. But I didn't want to get all that slime all over the airplane. So I had the stock muffler on, and the K&B Sports series got a neat little muffler, and it's got a little tube out there. And I found some neoprene because I was told that the exhaust is hot.
Boy.
And I put the neoprene on the end of that little muffler stub or whatever it is, and went over and wired it along the bottom of the profile fuselage, and it opened up right behind the landing gear. It was pointed slightly down, and I flew the pattern with that whole setup, very quiet, and there was no slime on my airplane. But there's just on everybody else. There's sure a lot of smell floating around in the air.
Yeah.
You know, we should get Gerald on board and have him do a seminar of sorts on diesels, because I know Gerald Wimmer flies them quite a bit with his family.
Oh, he
They really
does.
yeah.
You know, and it's so easy to make diesel fuel these days. You know, you need kerosene, you need well, you need the starter, the diesel starting fluid.
Ether.
Ether, and then everybody says use castor oil. I don't know. I think they could run on a castor mix. You know, like a 10-20, or yeah, is that? Well, you know what I mean. Half castor, half synthetic. I think they could run on that fine. I've also thought about getting that perfumed lamp oil that they use. You know, and have it smell like flowers as it goes around.
That's like these cars running on French fry oil, and everybody's getting hungry when they go by.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hey, that's no joke. That's no joke.
You know, for diesel airplanes, there's semi trucks parked everywhere. I mean, they wouldn't mind a quarter a gallon dipped out of their tank, would they?
No, it's just a little bit more expensive than gasoline. So
one of the guys in our bass club has a Dodge diesel, and he gets his own fuel. His father owns 4 McDonald's, and that's what he burns is that refried fuel.
The biofuel.
Beautiful.
Every time he comes around, he'll come to a meeting, and we'll be sitting out in the parking lot, and he'll come up and run that big Dodge, and he wants to park right beside us. Everybody's ready to go in the restaurant and get something to eat. You get hungry. You can't help it. I can't smell and I get hungry.
Oh my God.
Well, about 15 years ago, that was literally the flavor of the week. You know, you watch the horsepower TV and stuff, and every second episode on Truck TV, they had something on one of these diesel distillery things for running vegetable oil from McDonald's. You don't hear much about it nowadays, though.
No, he's got that Dodge truck, and he's got a Volkswagen Jetta, I think it is, diesel, and they both run on cooking oil. And I mean, it will make you hungry when he comes up, because he has to let that blessed thing run for a minute when he stops, because he said the turbocharger has to have a minute to cool off. Oh, I think he just does it to make us all hungry. I don't know.
Maybe the turbocharger gets indigestion from all the French fry taste.
Yeah.
I totally lost. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I totally lost my appetite for McDonald's when I found out that 2 Big Macs, a large drink, and a large fries is over 2,000 calories. That was enough for me.
Oh yeah.
I'm out.
Oh yeah.
We used to always just call it rotten.
That's your totally daily intake in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always just called it Rotten Ronnie's. You know, you want to go commit slow suicide.
Yeah, heart attack in a pack. That's what it is.
You got there, John.
Heart attack in a sack.
Thank you, John, for bringing us back to Mall Aviation.
There we are.
Pretty.
PAW, I think that's a 19.
Wow.
Diesel.
The screw on top, do you release the pressure to get it started, or
no? That's adjust your compression. That's how you set your compression. You might set it at one point to start it, back it off a little bit, start it, and then once it's running and warmed up, you'll screw it in. And what you don't want it to do is pre-ignition and things like that. But you know, once you get it set, it's really neat. You don't have to carry a battery or anything like that around. But you don't want to flip the propeller just aimlessly like you did with that KMB. Yeah. But this is an RC version. It's got the carb on it. But I like the way the muffler works. This muffler, I can turn around and make it go to the rear if I want.
Cool.
Nice.
Or this way, it's going out the side, like you got upside down. It's going right out the side. Then you can put your neoprene tube on there and run it back. I have a smaller one, a 15 size, and I'm trying to decide whether to put that 15 on that Tom Dixon Ringmaster.
Oh, okay.
So
You know?
they don't use nitro at all, or it's just kerosene pretty much.
Kerosene is the main ingredient, and the starting
Castor.
fluid is the igniter and the oil. That's basically it.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, and
Some
Yeah.
of them run camp fuel in them too to boost it up a bit, don't they, John?
yeah,
Or-
yeah, you can. There are some different. You can go online and find some different recipes for diesel fuel, for model
I'll
diesel
take you out in a
fuel.
minute. Okay.
But it the easiest one, and the one most commonly used is what is it? Basically, in a gallon, you take and pour in the whole can of igniter for John Deere diesel tractor. Pour that in
Oh,
there.
I
Pour
remember
in
that stuff.
pour in
Starter.
20% oil, and pour in the rest kerosene, and mix it up, and now you're ready to go.
Now, did the diesels? I know with the nitro, everybody talks about going from say Miami to Denver. You're going to have different nitro contents for the altitude and the weather difference. Does it affect the diesels that much?
I don't know. I really don't know on that. The diesel I had on that twister, I set it up here in Salt Lake, which is about 5,000 foot altitude. But I flew it in a contest down at Whittier Narrows, and you're adjusting your compression. That's
it. So
that's
yeah,
it.
the fuel's the fuel, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
you'll
much.
burn more fuel. You'll burn more fuel the lower you go, though. Up high, your fuel load, you kind of lean on it. And I mean, I
Burns
when I
more
went to
efficiently.
Brodak,
Yeah.
when I went to Brodak, I couldn't get a full pattern out of my airplanes because I only had a 4-ounce tank in there, and I'd get about to the vertical 8 or the hourglass, and I'd run out of fuel, and that was because I needed a bigger tank because I was lower in altitude.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
it doesn't affect the fuel, it just affects the fuel efficiency,
yeah,
the mileage.
yeah,
Well, your plane builds more power, but it drinks more fuel doing it.
yep,
Kind of like any engine.
yeah.
Yeah.
All a diesel is it's called a compression ignition.
Yeah.
And so it's got a high compression on it. You adjust it with that little thing on the top, and you get it to where you'll flip it, and it gets the mixture hot enough with the ether in there. It gets hot enough, the ether ignites the charge, and she starts running.
It's just like we start our glow motors this time of year. I mean, not this weather, but when it's up 40 or 50 degrees, we'll go out flying. And if the motors don't want to start, we'll throw a little lighter fluid in it. Ron's lighter fluid.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, I got to go walk with Terrace, but I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.
Don't
All right,
let
thank
him
you,
eat
Bill.
anybody.
Okay, see you then.
This little guy sitting here looking at me saying, it's time to go. He takes his nose and puts it under your arm and says, all right, get up, it's time to go. Be back in a few minutes, guys.
I'll be
All right, thank you.
I'll be back in a few minutes too.
All right, thank you.
Well, I'm gonna go put my pizza in. I'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Everyone's run away. That 45 that was being shown a few minutes ago, what's that going into?
Which 45? The mine?
That K&B
No,
45.
the K&B that Eddie was showing.
Yeah.
Eddie left. He'll be back.
We'll have to find out. That'd be a perfect engine for a Shark 45 for classic.
Yep. Oh.
Wow, did it ever get quiet?
All right.
No,
So is anyone building anything tonight while we're sitting here?
I'm painting something.
Okay. What are you
Well,
painting?
Not exactly painting. I'm putting some filler on the leading edge, same old wing.
You getting it closer, Howard?
I don't know.
Little by little?
There it is. Oops.
Okay.
Let me make you big, Howard. Hang on a second.
All right.
Let's see here.
Okay.
I feel big. Yeah.
You are big now.
the leading edge had caved in, so I put the blue stuff on there. The what's the name of that? Well, and
I know what you mean. Super fill.
Yeah, the other blue stuff is the Phil T. Granderson official filler. It's cleared up, saturated with talc. I put some zinc steer too, and then here's where I had to patch a chunk of wing because it collapsed the rib.
Oh, Howard, you've had a nightmare with that wing.
Yeah, that's
the wing from it's the wing from hell.
Wing from hell, right?
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm impressed you guys build about 50 airplanes the time it takes me to build one.
yeah, but we don't build them right. That's the problem. You build it right. That's the difference.
Apparently not.
In the end, yeah, but you know what, Howard? I bet you anything. In the end, you get it right.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's so the whole deal.
Frenchy poo, Howard, or what's the story there? I missed out on it.
What's that?
Was that a result of a little boo boo? What you're doing on that wing, or no, I missed the story on that.
Well, no, it was a stupidity. I sheeted the leading edge with balsa that I think was too light, and there's too much space between the ribs. And then I left it in the window when I went off to the gnats, and it got up to 100 degrees, so it was even hotter than that. So the dope shrank and crushed.
So it kind of became a twister.
It
reshaped itself.
It became a crusher. Yeah.
Interesting. Good lesson for us all. Don't live where it's too hot.
Don't live where it's too hot.
Well, just don't leave it in the window. That's all.
Yeah. They'd finish it up before the gnats and take it and fly it, and then all would have been well.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Len. How are you?
Good stuff. I'm well. Good to hear. I see you're working on some stuff there.
I'm trying to rescue this old Winchester 1890 gallery gun that my buddy had in his garage.
That's all right. Good stuff.
He said he got it out of his dad's barn 30 years ago in Florida. And he brought it up here, and I saw it laying in the corner of his garage the other day, and I said, let me take that home and see if I can get that thing straightened out. It's rusted to hell, but I got the magazine tube out of it. I got the action working somewhat, just got the stock off it, but I'm going to keep playing with it and just clean it up.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do when you work on it. That's right.
Yeah. I'm just messing around. I hated to see it just leaning in the corner like that. I was like, let me take it home and see if I can make it shoot again.
You know what? You and I are both the same. I'm like that. When I see something, I can't leave it alone.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to restore the thing or anything like that. I'm just trying to clean it up and see if it's serviceable and see if we can put a few rounds through it. And then if he wants to, he could go further with it. He could take it in and have it professionally done, you know.
What caliber is that, Mike?
It's 22.
Oh, 22.
How's the board?
Probably 22 shorts only. Well, no, it's 22 long. It's a gallery gun. It's the one they, used to
Okay.
at the carnival back in the day, but it's a Winchester model 1890.
Yeah.
I don't know what year this was made. I'd have to chase down the serial number on it, which I got a good serial number here on the bottom, so I could look that up and figure out what year it was made.
Lots of liquid wrench. Lots of liquid wrench.
What's the board look like on it?
Oh, you can't see nothing through it. I already did that. You can't see any daylight through there, so that's going to be the last thing I kind of do. But
you got carbon in that.
What's that?
That rust or just carbon?
Thing to show you.
I'm not sure yet, but let Howard's got airplane stuff, so let Howard talk.
This is a long.
Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in, Mark.
This is a rack of combat planes.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Would the combat kid have fun there?
Look at that.
He could destroy the rest of them. There must be, there's few.
Just a few, Howard. Holy crap.
Yeah. That's a hanger, so there are hundreds hanging from it.
Wow.
Are those like shower hangers that you're using or what?
Yeah, per Mike's instruction.
Very cool.
It's a good idea. Wow.
Very nice.
Imagine if you had that many stunters.
Yeah, wow.
Somebody
probably does.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on the chat box, gentlemen, just a second. Minnesota Mike says diesel is fun but stinks.
Yes, it does.
And then he says stink again, so I guess for emphasis. And then Brent Williams says, Howard, is that a flaming dog head variant Predator you're building?
Yes.
Oh, cool. And then Minnesota Mike says, John Deere Ether is the best for diesel. And we're all caught up.
Cool.
So what are you working on, Mark?
Hey, Mark.
All
Good to
right.
see you, buddy.
Is that fancy
Trying to
pants?
figure out what that is.
Yeah, I decided to put that fancy pants together. So, you know,
Good
Okay.
job. All right.
it's got a lot of different, techniques at what I've done so far, you know, the leading edge, you know, and cap strips and, you know, the whole works, a full fuselage. So, you know,
It's looking good.
it's a simple kit to get going with, you know?
Yeah.
That's one of them there, no pants.
Exactly.
Yeah, the no pants.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I started at first, you know, I'm going to put adjustable lead up, all this kind of stuff. You know what? Now I'm just going to build it straight to plan. It's just going to be a fun airplane anyway.
It'll be fine. That's good.
And I did find out though that I was going to put an FP on it. Yeah.
Right.
But I built it to the plans, and the crutch, the FP has a very narrow mount,
spacing. Yeah.
you know, and I guess I can redo while I'm doing it, I guess, or I could just put a red head on it. Yeah. A McCoy red. Yeah, which will fit what I've already got done. It'd be pretty easy to redo this, but you know, I don't know. I'll figure that out as I go along. But before I start putting the fuselage together, it's I got to figure that out. Yeah.
Hey, as long as you're enjoying it, who cares? Put whatever you like in it. Right on.
Yeah. You know, it and the 20 would have been plenty, I'm sure. But
it would have been more than enough.
Yeah, and I think actually the 20 might have been stronger than the redhead would be.
Yeah, probably it would be.
Probably.
Those FP20s, they really wail.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I'll figure that out in a little bit. But yeah, it's been fun. Yeah. I think it like I say, I started once just to do this, do that. And I said, you know what? Let me just build it straight with the plans. You know, take Mr. Hunt's advice, build it straight. You know,
Yeah, keep it straight. They fly better if they're straight, eh?
What is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun little build. So,
guys, what is it? I just got back.
Fancy
What is
pants.
it? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a great little airplane.
Yeah.
yeah.
Great little airplane.
Everybody should have one. I got one.
Yeah,
They fly good.
it's pretty short coupled, but you know, like I say, and you know, I get to build the tank too. So, you know, it's kind of a I'll say good practice for a large,
For sure.
you know.
If you put something in it that's mildly overpowering it, like mine had a Enya 35 in it, but it was a strong Enya. That
Yeah.
thing flies in the wind like you won't believe.
I've heard that same thing about the wind. Yeah. Can't quite figure out why it would be different, but maybe just a
I
small
don't
size.
know. I never,
the power
That's all-
ratio, you know.
that's the only thing I can figure out, but it really flew well in the wind. I was really impressed with its wind flying. I gave mine to my daughter, and that was, anyway, long story.
I have
I enjoyed
a brand new Enya 29 sitting downstairs, and I'm either gonna get rid of it or I'm gonna bite the bullet and put 2.5 gallons of fuel through it to quote break it in and see if I can make it work in something.
Yeah, I think from all my Enya research, you know, I got the Enya on the Banshees really running nice now, you know.
Okay.
And it was a Stunthangar post, kind of hidden somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, it's not just running 2 gallons of fuel through it; it's how you run it. Apparently,
okay,
it worked. You know,
all right, 2-minute runs.
Run it like 2 minutes. You know, run
now,
it 2 minutes.
Fairly fast or fairly slow?
Pretty rich. Pretty rich.
Pretty rich. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know, run it 2 minutes, 2 minutes at a time, for a total of about 45 minutes of run time.
Okay.
Know? But let it cool in between.
Cool right off. Yeah. Okay. And what kind of fuel do they like?
I'm running 20. It's
like half and half.
It was 18% synthetic, so I put just a little caster in it and brought it up to 20, and it's 10% nitro.
All right.
It's the Byron fuel, but the heavier caster fuel that I had before, it didn't like. Yeah, I don't know if it was just the mix or it was too early in its break in and stuff like that. But I had some fuel for like the McCoys and stuff that were pretty heavy, like 27, 28%.
Yeah, usually that's for the McCoys and the Foxes. Yeah.
Exactly, and they liked it well. And yeah, I think some of my frustrations with it was that, and
trying to put it in the Enya. Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell you why. You know.
Yeah.
I talked to another gentleman too, that, you know, kind of said the same thing about the break-in, and yeah, but he said even 18, the metallurgy, he says the metallurgy on those, and I'm just going by what he said. You know, he said the metallurgy on those engines are pretty good for an older engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, what I want to try and do is I want to try and run it not too hot. I don't want to cook the thing early. I want to keep it running fairly cool. So that's why the type of fuel is very interesting to me on what's going to make an Enya run nice, but not too hot.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to run it too rich though. Now don't get it all slobbering. It won't build heat.
No, I don't run them that way ever.
Well, what he said and what I did, and this is just what I did, you know, it worked for this one, you know, is, you know, get it right at peak. And then I dropped it off the peak a little bit, you know, just not blubbering rich, but just below the peak, you know. But yeah, and now it's just a matter of getting the right prop on it, because, you know, to getting the brake correct, you know. I had a 10.5, I had an 11.4 that I cut down to like a 10.5. When I was first dealing with it, that seemed to be what it liked. But now that it's running better, you know, and consistent, I think I could probably maybe drop the diameter a little bit.
Okay.
You know, maybe back to 10.5 or something like that. I you know, I'll use what I got. I'll try. Yeah. But yeah, that's and that's the older with I know we had talked at one point about these Venturis. Is it the older square Venturi that you have?
That's the older one. No, the one I've got's got the round Venturi.
Yeah.
But I had an old one. I had an old one before. I got rid of it finally, which was my original motor, the first big motor I ever owned. It had the square Venturis.
Yeah, and you know they came with 3 Venturis, and
I used the small one always. Yeah,
I figured this out the hard way, you know, and it just kept running away, and finally couldn't figure it. I was actually talking about 3D printing one. I'm still made deal with that. I've kind of made the program. I've made the file, but just hadn't acted on it. But when I actually got a number one Venturi, you know, it was kind of a different animal.
Yeah, calmed it down a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
from what I understand, they were like combat engines, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
could put that number 3 in there, and it just screamed wide open the whole time.
Oh, yeah, just go like a stinker. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you decide you want to break something in that'll bite your fingers and just keep on biting your fingers, buy a Brodak 25. Once
yeah.
they're broke in, it's a great motor. But I mean, it will bite you more starting out than any motor I've broke in 20 years.
That Enya is pretty tight too, and I backflipping it when it was first, the first several runs was about the best way to get it started without.
Yes, you don't kill it. Yeah, you don't flip it through compression, or you're gonna wear it.
That is the truth.
That darn little Brodak, it squeaks at the top.
Yeah,
when you pull it through.
It's tight.
It's got a good pinch. I
Yeah.
thought about taking a head gasket and cutting it and putting it under the sleeve to jack it up a little bit to see what that'll do, because I'm telling you, that thing's got a heck of a pinch at the top. But I did, and I went ahead and kept playing with it. The guys kept telling me that no, if you leave it alone and run it, it'll get good.
Well, they make a really good sport race motor too, those Brodak 25s. They're a really good sport racing engine.
Well, I don't have anybody to race.
They restart, like once they're broken in, they really go and they restart hot. It's quite the motor.
Yeah, it's a good little motor, but
Yeah,
I got
no doubt about it.
I got 2 of the guys locally are running them and having real good luck with them. Kermit Payne and Buddy Barbie. I don't think Buddy's running his right now, but Tom Looper's running his.
Bunch of guys run them in speed limit combat too. Yeah.
No, we're running them on Ringmasters.
Okay, that's cool.
The guys are all running them on Ringmasters. It's about the only thing. If you go out there on any given Saturday, the one thing you'll see is Ringmasters. Everybody loves the Ringmaster.
Yeah.
I hate the darn thing, but I wanted to build one. I built one, and it's I'm happy with it. It flies. I can fly both patterns with it, and it flies real good. So I'm happy with it. But oh man, I can remember when I was a kid wanting to progress beyond that darn Ringmaster. I want to get away from that darn Ringmaster.
Yep.
And then I get older, and we're all moving back to the Ringmaster. It's just not
Isn't that
fair.
scary, eh? And that's a scary thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy.
That's
thing.
the way I was with flying large airplanes.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks, Bob. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it.
Have a good night, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Bob, we'll have something to show you here before long. I'm building a whole shot for that 25.
Oh, yeah, that's a good little airplane. Have a good one, guys.
All right,
You
take
too.
care.
Good to see you, Bob.
Yeah,
it's a oversized whole shot, but anyway, 2 more bays and it's got wingtips on it, but it's still a whole shot.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give up on Brodak 25 because I've got one on my combat plane, and all I have to do is prime it a little bit and then turn the prop, and when it bumps, I hit it one time and it fires right up. That's a sweet little motor.
Yeah, that's Kermit. I've been watching Kermit with his. He'll go out there and prime the thing and get it primed up and go through his. He primes it so many times with his finger on the vent, and then he lets go of it and he primes it, does it just like I do, same thing I do. And then twice backwards, and he puts a battery on it, smacks it one time backwards, and it's running. Yeah. So it's a great little motor. But I'm telling you, that is the stubbornest little thing to get started. It's so tight at the top, and just that thing has bit me so many times. I don't wear gloves starting the motor. I do when I start that thing, at least right now.
Yeah.
So it's a stubborn little motor, but it's going to be a good one. It's got to be. It's got to be. I've got 2 of the darn things. It's got.
You're gonna make it a good little motor.
Yeah. Have no choice. I have no choice. I asked a guy to buy me one and to order me one, and he got it for me. And then he thought I ordered a second one, and I went ahead and took it because I just didn't, And then lo and behold, they turned out to be great running motors. So it's a good deal. I bought it, but I'm telling you, it's the stubbornest little motor I've ever had. That thing, like I say, it's bit me more times than any other motor I've ever had. A Super Tiger 35 was the nastiest motor I ever had, I thought, because that's the only motor I ever tried to start. And I started it with a chicken stick, and I was pulling it all the way through on compression. it would come around so fast it would bust the blade off the prop when it hit the chicken stick. Well, I didn't know any better, and I had a full-size Venturi in it, combat vent in it. So somebody finally, Bob Galley, finally told me, hey, put a small vent in that thing, and combat vent in that thing. Well, the only one I could find was for a 46. But I put that in it, and the darn thing calmed down, and you can crank that thing and run it. So there's a lot to this stuff. You have to learn. It don't just come to you naturally. You got to figure some of this out. But some of it, nice if somebody will tell you so you can save a little time. And they did, and I got it running real good. But it's laying downstairs in a box somewhere. I don't even know where it is. Yeah,
I find every motor tends to have a sequence that it likes.
Yeah.
And a setup that it likes. And if you find that sequence and that setup, they all tend to run pretty nicely. But finding it can be very difficult with some motors.
Yeah, I've got
variables.
I've got a Max 40. It's a Silver Fox 40. That thing, I'm telling you, if it's hot weather, you better watch it, because that puppy don't need much of a prime, and you just take it and grab the spinner with your thumb and grab the prop, pop it backwards one time, and you better get out of the way, because it's probably going to run. I have been priming that thing and flipped it through and had it start, and judges say you're supposed to signal, and I'm sitting there and I pull the battery out of my pocket and show it to him. Oh, go ahead and fly. So I didn't put the battery on the darn thing that started. It'll start. So
my LA 46 even does that sometime. It'll be sitting on the ground. I'll go and flip it over a couple of times. Shit, it started.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
Oh yeah, I've had it happen. On a hot day, oh yeah.
Yeah.
When they do that, listen to them. They're crackling a little bit. Put another head gasket in it.
Yeah.
It'll make your rod last a lot longer.
Okay.
Your glow plug is a diesel, that, don't you?
Yeah. 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 A real diesel has a glow plug in it, or most of them. Some of them don't, but most of them do. My last bucket truck was an International diesel. It had no glow plug. It just started, just purely spun it up and it started.
Was it easy to start?
Oh, it was easy to start. Even in the cold weather, it was easy to start. But don't forget to put that cow whiz in it, because if you did, the darn thing would slow down. It wouldn't go but 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, fluid.
When that tank come on, that light come on and said it needed that stuff, you better be headed for the pump to get it.
Yep.
I recall back in the day at a Fox 59 that you did not put a nylon or a plastic prop on, not if you wanted to keep your fingers, because you would turn around and you turn around, you pull it through, you pull the engine through, you don't actually flip it, you pull it through where it's primed, and you pull it through until you got that bump. Well, this sucker like to cut your fingers every time it bumped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you had a sharp prop on, a plastic prop on, hey, come back before your fingers are bleeding.
Yeah, how about when the advent of the carbon fiber prop at the Nationals, a lot of guys that first year that I saw carbon fiber props, a lot of guys came out of there. Shane Bob's already left with Band-Aids on their fingers.
Lucky they only had Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Right.
Then we learned to start them with gloves.
We call those meat slicers. That's really what they are. They're meat slicer props.
Bologna slicers. That's what we call them, bologna slicers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. I have a bunch of them now, and they scare the daylights out of me. Yeah, I'm very careful, and I always wear the glove.
I ain't getting my pony nowhere near them.
Oh yeah, they're scary. When I start my Rojet 90 with the 4-blade 15-inch prop, I'm terrified.
That's the
four-blade 15-inch meat slicer just terrifies me. And everybody at the field knows I'm terrified just by the way I'm trying to start it. I'm like,
that's the weird thing. That 72 4-stroke, I've been breaking it in, and that 72 4-stroke with a 14-inch prop, you just walk up that thing once you get it primed. You just take that thing and give it a flip, and it's running.
That's cool.
You go to crank that daggum 76 Stalker or 70, whatever it is, 76 Stalker.
76 and 81.
same thing. But you go do that 25 and you can't get your dang finger out of the way fast enough. It comes back around, pops you before you get your finger out of the way. I mean, it's there at the hub, so it don't really bite you, but you know you've been bumped.
Yep.
I mean, good grief, this thing's nasty tempered.
Yeah, don't try it out at the tip. You'll really know it.
Oh no, I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid.
That applies to anything that rotates though, or fires or whatever.
Yeah.
I can remember one day I was up just out doing a whole bunch of plinking and shooting, and I don't know, I'd fired off a couple of 100 rounds of high powered, picked up a 22. I think it was a pistol, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And I thought it was getting misfires, and the damn thing was firing, but I just couldn't feel it compared to the high powereds, and that could have been potentially dangerous for, if I hadn't been pointing down range shooting the damn thing. But, even with little 049s or 020s, those little buggers can cause a nasty slice too. And, you can have running sometimes after you've been frustrated and you're flipping and flipping and flipping, the damn thing isn't going. Then all of a sudden it goes and you're reaching into expecting to have to flip again.
Oh, man, come on. The fact that the Cox engines were the engines that always gave me the most cuts on my fingers out of anything I ever owned.
For sure.
049s. 049s.
I've been cut one time, and that was on 049. But the worst thing I have a problem with is getting my knuckle in the blade set in the needle valve.
Yep.
I've done that more than I have. I've trimmed my knuckles off more than I have cutting my finger starting it.
I've done good that way because I got little guy fingers. So I got girly fingers, so a little bit more out of the way.
I mean, the Cox 049s, you have more ways to slice your fingers than just about any other engine. You had the spring wind-up spring way to slice your fingers, and then you had your regular flip way to slice your fingers, and then there was another little gizmo that helped you slice your fingers. And always you used to slice your fingers in the middle of the winter when you run that nice and high nitro fuel, and that high nitro or alcohol mixes in with the sub degree temperatures to slice your fingers.
And don't forget the white propellers. You can't see at all. Or I think I never owned one, but I think they used to sell a stupid clear propeller for them too.
Yes, they did. Well, it's just about clear.
It was just all but clear. Now those were nasty. We used to take those and dip them in dye and dye it red. Everybody says, "Why you dye it red?" I said, "Well, if you're stupid enough to put your finger in a spinning red disc, you really deserve to get bit." I mean, seriously.
Additionally, your blood isn't going to show on the prop afterwards.
Well, I think that was actually the idea, but man,
I hadn't got many cuts from a running prop, but I tell you, I learned my lessons from a new APC on sanding the back of the prop.
Oh yeah. Oh good. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Hi guys.
Hi. My daughter Kimberly, my oldest daughter. She's saying hello to the terrorist. Oh, Lord.
Guys, let me interrupt for a second.
Go ahead.
Gary Sinclair, he had to leave because his Wi-Fi went down, so he said he'll see you later. I know when it gets cold where he lives, his Wi-Fi goes out. So I don't know.
I thought you said his wife.
No, Wi-Fi. Excuse me. It's Wi-Fi.
Gary lives in Minneapolis. In
Minnesota,
oh man.
So who's got the best chicken stick story? I'll start out. When I was a kid, I wanted to make a chicken stick, so I took my saw and I sawed off a hunk of my mom's broom. I popped some foam on it with some electrical tape and used that as my chicken stick. I still got that old thing hardened up foam and everything now, but I think I still got it kicking around.
You wouldn't be if I was flying with you. You wouldn't have it still.
I don't know if I can beat that, but I bet I can match it. I'm a guitar player, but my two my older and my younger brothers both played the drums. I had heard Wipeout one time too many. And I cut a chunk out of the center of a drumstick, and I took electric tape and put on it, and I made myself a chicken stick. And you think I didn't? You think I was not popular? Was popular around the house? My brother only had one drumstick.
I bet he was not happy with your butt. Wow.
No, he wasn't. He cut all the strings off my guitar. I needed new strings anyway. Whatever.
Hey, what'd your mom say when you cut off her broom?
I told her what it was for, and she didn't get upset at all.
You're a
Oh,
lucky
I
man.
think, I think she might have inferred that I was responsible for the sweeping after that, but
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
And it was too short for her, so you had to use it.
oh hell no, she was short.
Lucky for you.
I was a teenager. I was taller than her, but she 100% supported my hobby. She drove me all over the place with it, and
That's nice.
they bought me whatever they could with what they could afford for it and everything. And I just no lack of appreciation from me on that. It's just infinite.
That's great.
You know, when I was a kid, for chicken sticks, we'd go down to the auto supply store, and you know that round tubing that they use for the radiator?
water hose.
Yeah, the
Water
water
hose.
hose.
Yeah.
We'd get a couple of feet of that. We'd go down, we'd cut off a bunch of chunks and hand them out to everybody we were flying with. That was our chicken sticks.
Yeah, that's
Those
the
work
better
good.
ones. That's the better ones, yeah.
Anybody else got a story? I got one.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
My
go
dad
for
had
it,
the
lad.
little rubber stopper thing you put over your finger.
Yeah. You could do that with the radiator hose or the water hose.
So
Yeah.
here's my story. In
All right, man.
1987, I was at the Canadian Nationals for stunt. And our top stunt flyer at that time was Fred Tellier. I don't know if you guys know that name.
I remember him.
But
I've heard of
anyhow, at the Nationals, I had a motor burn up. I had an Enya 45 in my big airplane, and I melted it down, like totally burned the motor up. There was nothing left of it.
Wow.
Freddie takes a look at it and he goes, "That's not going to work. We've got to do something about this." He says, "Look, we'll take it back to the hotel. You take the motor out. I'll check over your tank and we'll put my backup motor in your airplane for the contest." So we go back to the hotel. To make a long story short, he puts his backup motor in my airplane. And him and Al Reisinger stayed up till 3 a.m, melting the tank out of the front of my airplane with a soldering iron because I did the tank all wrong. It was all wrong. So they melted the tank out of it. And then they put Freddie's backup tank also in my airplane for the
Nice.
Nationals. The next day we're going out to fly in the national stunt contest. It was actually the trials for the Canadian team. So we get out there and we're on the tarmac and I'm filling up the airplane and getting it all ready. And I get my battery out and I get my chicken stick out and everything. And Freddie goes, "What's that?" I said, "It's a chicken stick." He says, "Let me see that." I handed it over to him. He takes it. He threw that chicken stick as far as he could throw it. He goes, he says, "Don't ever let me see you using a chicken stick ever again." He said, "How old are you? Are you 13? He says, "Get over it." He says, "I'm going to teach you today, once and for all, how to start a model airplane, and you will never, ever want or need a chicken stick again." So he showed me to draw the fuel up with my finger over the Venturi 5 times. Put the battery on. If it bumps, you're ready to go. Signal the judges, hit it, and go. Done. End of the story. He says, "You use a chicken stick on my $8 propeller here. You just wrecked an $8 prop. Don't ever use a chicken stick on a stunt model. You don't need them, ever." He says, there you go. There's your lesson for the day. And I never, ever looked back and never used the chicken stick again. I have one in my box just in case, like a Combat 25 or something's kind of barky or something like that. But I never use one on a stunter. I've never used one since.
There it is. The original.
The original.
Oh my God. Throw that thing as
Broomstick. I
far
don't know
out the
what the
back.
heck I got that angled hole through it for. I don't remember, but this is probably about the 10th iteration of tape, but it's rock hard.
You can't remember what that hole's for?
No,
I don't remember what the heck that was.
Oh,
It
come
might have been
on.
from pulling you know what I think it was? I think I had a spring fed through that, and I had that on my stooge that I just had a 2x4 nailed into the ground with a hole in it that I had a twisted up piece of coat hanger wire on with a string on it. And I think as I recall, this served dual purpose. It was my chicken stick for starting, and I'd run out with it and pull my stooge.
Well,
You know
mine
what
has
you
a
gotta do
hole.
with that?
Mine
You
has
gotta turn
mine has
around.
a hole in it. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Katie.
What you do is you paint the handle part of it brown, some of it red, and the very top white. It'll look like a giant match.
Yeah, mine had a hole in it like that. It's because the broom the broom handle had a hole in it. That's where the string went through it. That they hung it in the broom closet.
Okay.
That's what that was
Now, what I
for.
use nowadays is, we got a big picture on there of lounge chairs or something.
Yeah.
Welcome to South Carolina ice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
ice. Okay.
Ice. There we
I
go.
just
Not
walked my
snow,
dog and we
ice.
got an inch of snow.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't even
all right.
have
Let me
that.
just say hi to Ed Carlisle. I couldn't get a chance to say hi, Ed. Thanks for coming in. And Steve, welcome. Thank you for coming in, Steve. And we got 4 more minutes till we transition to the after party.
Mm-mm.
And
And
what's
this
that?
is what I use for a chicken stick now, Charles.
That's a good deal. Now
It's one of those chef's Kevlar gloves.
Cool.
Right.
So I might get a sore finger from it, but I'm not going to get cut.
Right.
Yeah.
There's my chicken stick.
That's your chicken stick? Okay. Yeah. I
You
use
can
a
just
rubber
say hello,
hose.
Ben.
I use a rubber hose because my last hard chicken stick that I used on an expensive prop, it split it. And I said, oh my God, I'm not going to use the chicken stick anymore because the one I had was too hard and I got a prop from the Ukraine and it was too expensive to have that happen again.
Yeah.
So I just went to rubber hoses.
Where'd you keep that hose?
It's in my fly box.
Hey,
Oh,
Steve.
I thought
Good
it's
to see
up
you,
your
buddy.
nose with a rubber hose.
Up your nose.
Up your nose with the rubber hose. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was that Welcome Back Carter or something, wasn't
That's
it?
it. That's it. Welcome
Hey, I
back,
see.
Carter.
I see Mark's got some moonshine here.
What I use now, if I'm not using a glove, you remember the coupler that goes between the tune pipe and the
Yeah,
that works
pipe.
good. Yeah.
I put that on my finger and grab
that
the
works.
spinner with my thumb, put that on the blade, and that's what I start with every time.
And then after it's running, you reattach your pipe.
No, I can take that off on the way to get the handle because it's too darn hard to do it. Otherwise, I can't do it. I can't use a pipe. It's just too much trouble.
I went with the electronic way to do it.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
I've been having a problem with that though with my electric ones because I don't have a cup that'll fit in my needle noses.
Yeah, you know what my problem is with that? It wrecks every spinner I ever owned.
Yeah.
I don't use those ever. Never need one.
You get the that real soft inside cup. It won't wreck your spinner, but
The white ones tear up spinners. I tell you what. Oh my
the white
God.
ones are awful. They're
They're
like
awful. The other ones, the neoprene rubber ones.
Neoprene rubber ones, yeah.
Yeah, they don't seem to affect it. And
yeah,
those
they
will if you're hydro locked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, the trick is to make sure the propeller will spin, then push
Yeah.
it back almost to compression. Then put the spinner on there. Don't start it and then put it on there. You're
Then
sure to
jam
tear the
it,
spinner
yeah.
up. Put it on there and then bump it. And as you bump it, pull it just as soon as you feel it start, pull it away. Because if you sit there and turn it and then put it on there, you're going to tear something up every time.
Yeah, those electric starters, they're almost free now, you know, with everyone going electric, especially in the RC world. So I've got one that I've got a cup in just for props, you know, with the notches, and another one for spinners. Like I said, I like running needle noses, and I haven't found one yet that'll fit on needle nose.
No, I hadn't
They
either.
do make one.
Yeah, I gave away a bunch of batteries that they start to puff.
Yeah.
And they're great for the starters. Just, that's what's on this one. And you charge it once a year.
Yeah, I got to get one.
I don't have any more left. I gave them all away. I sent them. I mailed.
Yeah.
I think Charles got one, and
Yep.
Rusty and everybody way back when that I sent them all out to. But
I've got so many Milwaukee 18-volt batteries for all my drills and stuff that I'm kind of contemplating just rigging up an adapter onto it and just running those suckers.
Yeah, drill.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
not on the drill. I was going to do it with a drill, but you can buy the whole starter for next to nothing anyway.
Yeah.
But just an adapter for the back
But
plug it direct on like Steve is doing there.
it's really, I mean, it's thin. It gives it a place to set down.
Yeah.
It stands it up. And I always like the Royal starters. And I don't know, but I guess they don't like them because there's not a stand for them or a little thing. So I just got a piece of angle.
Yeah.
Drilled a couple holes, mounted that on there. And then put the battery on that. I hook it up and you're good to go. This is only a
Let me interrupt. I
toddlers,
want
we
to
can
end the
build
stream.
anything.
We're straight up at 9 o'clock, actually 9:02, and this has been a very good show. I mean, we had an audience, a live audience of 37 people.
Wow.
Tied here, I think we got up to we're at 16 now, and we have vacillated between 14 and 16. So
is that a record?
As far as live viewers, I think so. 37, 38.
That's pretty huge. All right.
That is nice. And we had some activity on the chat box. So it's been a really good show. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And we'll be back Monday. So until then, have fun, go out there and do something with your plane or shop and come back and tell us all about it. We'll see you back here at Monday. And
hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista. And we have Samantha Hines in the house. Hi, Samantha. I just saw your name down
Sammy.
there. Your
Hi, Sammy.
Hi.
Hey, Sammy. Thanks for coming in. But I'm gonna end the stream. Don't go anywhere. So me end the stream here.
Let's see, Peter.